Tonight you're going to get the whole package. Manish Shah is going to talk to us about biofuels. He is going to inform. He's going to give us facts and figures which are going to be very, very useful. He's going to inspire. He's going to motivate. He's going to entertain. I guarantee all of those things. This is a very, very important talk. But as important as the talk is, there's another element of this that's equally important, and that's the feedback. Because one of the things that the center is anxious to do is to create dialogue, feedback, discussion, debate among students, professors, community members, entrepreneurs, and the like. So what we're going to ask you to do is not just take this only from Manish out, but have this come both ways. So after today's presentation, if you have a comment you want to make, please email either Rebecca or myself, or Manish directly, because this information is on there. This is a learning experience for all of us, and it can only go both ways. Now, a little bit about Manish. Please read his bio. I'm not going to go through it. It's very, very impressive. Very, very impressive. But let me tell you a little bit about Manish, because Rebecca and I came to meet him about 2 months ago. This is a truly remarkable and gifted person. This is a person that not only has talent, intelligence, but he has a profound caring and love for mankind, which you will see come through very, very vividly in his presentation. This is a person that I think is going to make a great, great difference in the world. But he needs your help, and he'll tell you how he needs your help. As Manish says, I don't want to steal your thunder, Manish, but the biggest competitor he has is awareness. It's not another corporation, it's awareness. To raise people's awareness of the problem of the energy concern, raise people's awareness that there are alternatives, and raise people's concern about how good those alternatives are and what they accomplish. Now, before I bring Manish up, let me make probably the more important introduction of the night, and I'm going to ask Mrs. Shah, Manish's mom, to stand up and be recognized. So, Manish,
thank you.
Manish, thank you for being a good friend to Rebecca, a good friend to me, a good friend to the Center for Peace through Commerce, and a tremendously good friend to Dominican University. A pleasure.
Maybe a good way to start is to start with a prayer. In fact, if I could ask my mother, I didn't tell her this, but it sort of came to me. Tony said, why don't you bring your mom along? I said, that's a great idea, Tony. Mom, should we say the Nukar mantra? This is, I walk in the tradition of the Jain faith. Normally when you think of Indians, you think of Hindus or Muslims, and Jainism, we're a small faith, about 6 to 10 million of us in the United States, around the world. About 5,000 here in Chicago, and we have a temple in Bartlett, which is like 15, 20 minutes sort of northwest of Schaumburg, north of the airport. And it's the religion that Buddhism sort of came out of. Lord Buddha was a student of Lord Mahavir. So just to give you sort of a perspective, our central tenet is ahimsa. It means nonviolence. And a lot of what you'll hear tonight and sort of our sort of what we've been sort of known for in the world has been from this sort of central principle. If you look at leaders such as Gandhi and Nelson Mandela and the Dalai Lama and Martin Luther King and even writers like David Thoreau, they often, when they refer to civil disobedience, and you see what's happening in sort of in Egypt, they'll often refer to Jainism. So what happens is we're sort of small in numbers, but we're sort of like the Switzerland of religions. We love everybody, and people have often wanted to take haven in us. And so this prayer, it's called a Nukar mantra. It's sort of our most holy of prayers, and it's sort of a very auspicious way to sort of start off. And it's a way of, as I tell Tony, I go, it's something I love to build bridges. Is that, you know, my generation is the first generation of Indian Americans that was sort of raised here, educated here in the West. And it's, I think, an important thing that my parents' generation came here. usually as doctors and engineers, there's a huge shortage of those sort of professions in the U.S. in the 60s and early 70s. President Kennedy sort of opened the doors for us. And so my generation, you know, we were sort of the beneficiaries of the courage and vision that my parents had. And so I'm very grateful for that. And being here, a red-blooded American, you know, we walk in the footsteps of other communities that have come before us, you know, the Irish, the Italians, the Jews, the Chinese. And we're honored to walk in this tradition. And it's something that we want to have dialogue, you know, to get to know each other deeper and what we stand for. And so, if that's okay, can we start with a prayer? Absolutely. Mom? My mom's not as talkative as I am, but yeah. Where's that handle?
Here it is for the back.
My mom's a little sick, has a bit of a cough. So.
I am very cold. The meaning of our prayer is we don't have a who don't have an enemy or who are away from the what is called rat raceness. Okay, who don't have a okay. So this is my God, and I am praying this God. Means it's not just like the Jain follow. Whoever is following, they call Jain. So I know maybe you don't understand this Sanskrit word, but this is the meaning of this prayer. Namo Om Namo Arihantaram Om Namo Sitanam Om Namo Ayariyanam Om Namo Vajayanam Namo Loe Sav Saunam Eso Panchanamuka Sav Pava Panasano Mangalanancha Savve Sing Padamam Havai Mangalam Padamam Havai Mangalam. Thank you.
All right, now that we're all blessed. Can you hear me? Does it work? Okay. First of all, let me start with some thank you. One to Dominican University and the Brennan School of Business for hosting this tonight, and especially to Rebecca and Tony. When we met a couple months ago, how we met, you know, you have to, what I often say is that I feel Providence sort of came over me with the idea of FOSS and all the people I've met through this journey. And this energy, I feel I'm just a vessel through which this is working. And the people I've been blessed to sort of meet along the journey, it just humbles me. So during Christmas, I'm at a Christmas party in the building I live in downtown, and I meet this woman who knows me through some of the theater work that I also do, talking about building bridges and telling stories. And she is good friends with Tony's sister, Jacqueline. And so we had some dialogue, and I'm explaining what FOSS is all about. And she says, you know, my brother's into sustainability. Why don't I put you two in touch? And so Tony gives me a call, and our first phone conversation must have gone at least 2 hours. And it was in the evening at home. And then he says, why don't you come down to the center and meet everyone there? And so I meet Rebecca there. We must have spoken for 3 to 4 hours. In fact, I remember Rebecca had a class to teach. She goes to teach this class. Well, I've been thinking, okay, these guys will chat for 15, 20 minutes, and that'll be the end of that. She gets back, and I think she looked at me like, what are you still doing here? But Tony has definitely been someone I would say has been a kindred spirit. It's not often you find someone who so innately understands what sustainability is all about.